Ethiopian Hearts for Peace and African Hearts for Peace, an introduction to a new way forward. In an age when nations fracture under the weight of trauma, mistrust, and competing political interests, a quiet movement has been growing, one not driven by power or ideology, but by truth-seeking, compassion, and a deep desire for life to prevail over destruction. This movement is Ethiopian Hearts for Peace, and its sister initiative, African Hearts for Peace. Both were conceived not in conference rooms or embassies, but in the heart of a refugee engineer, Abebe Nagash, who carries the memory of war, displacement, and loss, and the conviction that dialogue can change the destiny of nations. These initiatives are not political projects. They are peace architectures designed to help wounded societies speak truth without fear, heal without blame, and build governance systems rooted in merit, competence, and moral clarity. They aim to show Africans and the world that peace is not a naive dream, but a practical path when guided by wisdom instead of politics, by technocrats instead of warlords, by truth seekers instead of propagandists. Across our long conversations, images, and reflections, we built a framework that honors the dignity of African peoples, the depth of their history, and their desire for sovereignty and stability. The essays, dialogues, and visuals that accompany this work show elders, scholars, engineers, farmers, and healers, not politicians in suits, leading their communities with humility and moral courage. This introduction sets the foundation for that vision. The birth of a peace movement rooted in truth and dignity. The seed of Ethiopian Hearts for Peace was planted from pain. Stories of massacres, starvation, displacement, and children like Aisha, whose life was stolen before it even began. Stories that rarely reach international courts, and when they do, they are diluted by geopolitics. Disillusioned by silence from global institutions and overwhelmed by the complexity of Ethiopia's internal conflicts, Abebe looked for a tool that could help him unravel truth without bias, fear, or manipulation. That tool became AI, not as a replacement for human wisdom, but as a type of mirror, a system that could surface facts, challenge contradictions, and provide structure for difficult national conversations. This is where the movement began, listening to all sides without condemnation, fact-checking narratives to prevent lies from fueling further conflict, creating safe, neutral platforms where even longtime enemies could speak, building unity through transparency rather than secrecy. The approach is radically simple. If the truth cannot enter the room, peace cannot either. 2. From Ethiopia to the continent, the vision broadens. As the idea matured, it became clear that Ethiopia's wounds reflect Africa's broader reality. Artificial borders, historical grievances, ethnic tensions, extractive foreign interests, fragile institutions, and youth trapped between hopelessness and survival. This is how African Hearts for Peace was born, an expansion of the Ethiopian model into a continental framework. Its foundations are the same. 1. Councils of wisdom, not political elites, but respected elders, scholars, technocrats, and moral anchors guiding society. 2. Meritocratic, technocratic governance, leadership by competence and integrity instead of political loyalty. 3. Truth-seeking dialogues, structured, fact-checked conversations where every community is heard. 4. A modular governance approach, inspired partly by Orania's self-governance model, where communities manage local affairs autonomously while remaining connected nationally and regionally. 5. Healing from trauma, acknowledging centuries of colonial manipulation, internal violence, and psychological wounds. The goal is not to overthrow existing structures, but to offer an alternative, a gentle path where community-based governance grows organically until it becomes a continental network of stability. 3. AI-mediated dialogue, a tool for healing, not control. Throughout our chats, we developed the methodology for AI-mediated dialogues, a powerful tool that allows opposing sides to speak honestly without the fear of being misquoted, attacked, or manipulated. For example, we created structured dialogues between Amhara technocrat Zemene, Tigray technocrat Jacob, Oromo technocrat Magersa Abebe, representing the Council of Wisdom, served as the moderator. AI was the neutral witness that ensured no lie could pass unchallenged, no claim went without fact-checking, no group was labeled by stereotypes, no history was rewritten for political gain. This format also included observers from colonial powers to acknowledge past interference without giving them authority, representatives of the African Union to affirm continental unity. This model can be replicated across Africa, Sahel, Horn, Central, West, and Southern regions, each with its own representatives, its own councils of wisdom, and its own truth-seeking process. IV. The modular technocratic governance system. A recurring theme in our discussions is that democracy in its imported form has struggled in Africa, not because Africans reject freedom, but because the systems were not built for African realities. Ethiopian Hearts for Peace proposes 1. Governance rooted in communities. Small, autonomous, meritocratic units that manage agriculture, water, security, justice, education, health. 2. Councils of wisdom. Each community elects representatives not through political campaigns, but through recognition of integrity, service, knowledge, contribution, technocratic leadership. Engineers, agronomists, doctors, economists, teachers, not political party members, shape policies. 4. Digital transparency. AI-assisted fact-checking ensures honesty in governance, preventing corruption and propaganda. 5. Continental interconnection. Communities connect via shared infrastructure, trade, and cultural exchange, forming a future African modular system. This system is neither centralized nor chaotic. It is organic, scalable, and rooted in African values. V. The moral message. Peace begins with humanizing each other. Across our dialogues, one message returns again and again. Peace is not the silence of guns. It is the restoration of dignity. Ethiopian Hearts for Peace confronts painful realities. Refugee communities criminalized domestically. American political rhetoric telling people to go back. African youth risking death to escape. Families silenced by fear of surveillance. Broken trust between Ethiopia's major groups. Endless cycles of misinformation. But our message to Ethiopians and Africans is simple and compassionate. Open quote, "Truth is not for dividing people. It is for saving life. We seek healing, not blame." Close quote. Abebe's transformation from warrior to peacemaker is the essence of the movement. He carries both the trauma of a refugee and the responsibility of someone who has seen how easily hate can spread when fear dominates the national conversation. VI, visualizing peace. Images that tell a story. You asked for images that portray councils of wisdom, traditional African aesthetics, technocrats and scholars without Western suits, reconciliation scenes, unity in diversity, healing over revenge. These images serve as visual testimony that Africans can imagine themselves as peacemakers, not as victims of global narratives. They support the YouTube scripts, documentaries, and awareness messages you hope to broadcast to the world. They are a reminder that the past does not define the future. Parsha Sepend, the heart of the mission. At its core, Ethiopian Hearts for Peace is a promise. No child should grow up with the trauma Aisha endured. No mother should bury her son because the truth was manipulated. No nation should collapse because its people could not sit together and speak honestly. And African Hearts for Peace carries that promise to the whole continent. 8. A path forward. This essay introduces the wider work you are building, the 3,000-word foundational document, the 3,000-word concluding chapter, the multi-region African dialogues, the YouTube scripts and visuals, the governance model, the healing messages, and the advocacy for refugees, immigrants, and displaced peoples. But more importantly, it introduces a philosophy. When truth is welcomed, peace becomes possible. When wisdom leads, nations heal. When dignity is restored, Africa rises. This is the spirit of Ethiopian Hearts for Peace, and the foundation on which African Hearts for Peace